So, I was listening to an episode of Part of the Problem the other day. Part of the Problem, episode 1385, Art of the Deal. I'll put links in the description. There is a segment starting at about 32 minutes and 48 seconds, and it goes until about 41 minutes in. It's about a 10-minute segment, so I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'll summarize it. But there was something in it that I wanted to kind of show that things are even worse than Dave and Robbie are suggesting that they are. So here we go. They show a segment from one of Dinesh D'Souza's podcast video, whatever things, where D'Souza is making this bizarre, like team sports justification for supporting Trump in his war with Iran and giving up on getting what we were legally supposed to get as far as proof and documentation goes for the Epstein case. D'Souza says basically that we need to have the maturity to let that Epstein issue go and get behind the Republican Party. He frames it as a compromise, that we won't quite get what we want, but what we're going to do is help to make sure that Trump can focus on what's in front of him. Now, Robbie and Dave both eviscerate this nonsense. Robbie starts with a perfectly solid condemnation of team sports in politics and talks about how having team sports over having values and aiming for justice is a really bad idea in general. And the team sports aspect of politics is really, really vile, right? This is something where, people all the way back in the 1700s were saying that party politics would be the death of the republic kind of thing. Now, Robbie's argument is perfectly solid. Dave goes on to go at a slightly different tack. He talks about how compromise is a thing, sure, but it has a place where it begins and it has a place where it ends. You don't compromise on the really important stuff, right? And then the whole idea that there's this lesser evil justification is incredibly dangerous, right? You can have, it is not true that if a guy says, I will kill 100 innocent people, and then another guy says, I will only kill 98 innocent people, that you must support the person who claims that he'll only kill 98 innocent people, right? This is one of those things where if two bodies get together and conspire to have one be a little worse and the other be really, really bad, you end up supporting something that's really, really bad, and you're not obligated to do that in any way. Dave goes on to talk about how the Epstein cover-up is illegal. There were 3 million documents that have still been held back. There are documents that were handed out that are still redacted inappropriately. And everyone should be against this cover-up, especially because it seems to reach so high in so many different governments. Now, these are both good arguments. Dave and Robbie are both right. They both make really good points. Robbie is right about how awful the treatment of politics as a team sport is and how bad that can get. And Dave is spot on when he talks about how the problem with this lesser evil thing and how much of a underrated problem the Epstein cover-up really is. But the thing that got to me while I was listening to this is that it's actually much, much worse than that. Because it's not true that Donald Trump is just trying to deal with this thing that's in front of him. This is a thing that he created in front of him in order to draw attention away from the things that were causing him problems in the polls. What Trump did was, when people started accusing him of allowing his Justice Department and his intelligence organizations to get away with covering up on the Epstein case, he basically started murdering innocent people. It's like you go up to somebody and you're like, hey, I think there was a discrepancy in this invoice that you sent me. And he just starts stabbing random people, right? You're just like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm stabbing these people. And it's like, we got to help him stab these people. And we have to give up on these discrepancies on the invoice that he sent you. D'Souza is telling us to give up on the Epstein case so that we can help Trump deal with the problem in front of him, which is actually Donald Trump deciding of his own volition, partly, to murder a bunch of random people overseas. As if we should want to help Trump deal with this problem any more than we should want to support his Epstein cover-up. Instead, the solution to both of these problems is to punish the offender, not to support him in committing the offenses.